I am honored to present to you a very unique dish. Sometimes we talk about easy or simple. I just wanted to keep it as a flavorful, memorable, unique to me. This is Ramen Mac and Cheese. I think it's important I kind of give you a little story about how did we get here today with ramen. I like that face. Like, yes, what is this? Ramen Mac and Cheese. Well, first of all, this is new to me, but it's not new to one of our seasoned, talented chefs who's here today, Jimmy Wita, the executive chef of festivals and special events, hiding out over here in the corner. Excellent storyteller, and he's one of those that is very capable of asking, why can't these two go together? Now, I grew up in a very classical French cuisine cooking, and it was always by the book. There was no veering from the recipe. But I appreciate individuals like Chef Jimmy who can show us like it's okay to try something and to see if it works. And of course, this is a dish that Jimmy can speak to as a young adult, as he referred to me as a starving college student, eating his fair share of ramen, and then of course his fair share of mac and cheese. Now think about those two together, two very iconic comfort foods mashed together in one bowl by the end of this tasting, which of course I think some of you have already had a chance to try this. But for Jimmy, what I think was great was he was serious. This is what he created as a young adult, cooking his little batch of instant ramen, but thinking to himself, why can't I just leave out some of the broth, add some cheese to this? Now, for me, I was like, that's the last thing I would do, knowing that I had a one-time experience with my kids making ramen, and I thought I'd chef it up for them, quickly sent back to the kitchen. That's the truth. No sesame oil dead, no green onions, just broth and noodles. And keep the mac and cheese simple too. Don't veer from the box. But today you're gonna see this is gonna have a level where it's worthy of going out to the marketplace, which you'll find this at Peppers Caliente. So, ramen mac and cheese, 4 different garnishes, and then let's get started with cooking the pasta. This is macaroni, this is salted water, this is maybe about a pound, we'll say. We'll let that come to a boil. We'll give it some stirs while we go into what I'm going to show you today. A couple other items that regarding some knife work. I'm sure most of you are seasoned veterans with cooking in the kitchen with knives. And by the way, when I hear somebody gently tell me they don't cook, I've never thought of asking them, like, not even like a box of mac and cheese or ramen? Like, to me, that's still some form of cooking. So don't think you have to go beyond that. If that's your comfort zone and you like getting in the kitchen and you don't mind doing the dishes, then I think you're still cooking. So give yourself a little credit, all right? So here we are. I'm going to give you the version of our knife safety here at Disneyland Resort. I've placed a latex glove over my hand. I'm going to add a cut glove to it for protection, for safety, and then another latex glove over that. Pasta's, yep, it's cooking. All right. Okay. I'm slowly, yeah, there you go. There you go, okay. Wait till you see the cheese sauce. I give this guy his credit. This is a pretty ingenious dish. All right, a little bit of work here, but it's worth it, just to show you our best practices here that we share with our culinarians to ensure they're successful. All right, cutting board, sharp chef knife, standard operating procedure. Green onions is one of the garnishes. By the way, green onions, scallions, very similar. I'm sure there's a class I could take on the true differences, but I feel confident that you could call these green onions. I'm going to then slice through them, not pushing down too hard. And the reason why is I want to ensure they stay green, and I want to ensure that they have a nice even edge. All right. There it is, just thin, sliced. I have my hand tucked in. Okay, well, we'll try to make it to the bowl. And then this, I'm going to switch out the cutting boards because the next garnish I'm preparing for this dish, Ramen Mac and Cheese. Okay, this one, again, This next item is Naruto Maki, or also known as fish cake. Now, I didn't grow up on fish cakes either, but I had to kind of dive into this one and do a little research, just because I was like, I've probably had these, but I don't really know exactly what's going on with these. Well, what's great about fish cakes is, you know what? They taste like fish, 100%. No hidden agenda there. But why fish cakes? Fish cakes, and this is a classic ramen garnish, adds that super savory flavor, and once you see it in the bowl, you'll kind of see like the hidden Mickey there. But I also want to point out that the fish cake itself is something that you can just take a bite. If you never had a fish cake bite before, just do me a favor and try it. That's all I ask. Just try it. Here you can see I love this because ultimately you could just make the fish cake. It's just steamed whitefish or steamed pollock, steamed halibut. The classic is pollock, but you don't need to add the garnish. You think to yourself, why the decoration? But why not? I think the culture where this is from shows that you can always enhance the look of something. Right? Pasta's going. Perfect. This will probably take about maybe a total of 10 minutes. And then you'll see that I'm going to slice these into coins. What's great is you can adjust the thickness. And anybody here had fish cakes before? A few, yes? You're okay with it? Yeah? Okay, yeah. Like, big smile, right, there you go. Yeah, it complements the dish. It's a garnish. It's not the dish, but it's the garnish. All right, so a couple of coins here, just ready to go. All right, now we're going to move on to the sauce. The sauce ratio here, let's look at it about 2 parts or maybe 4 cups of sauce to 1 pound of pasta. I think it's discretionary to the individual. Oh, this is looking great. In the sauce, 5 ingredients. Anybody can make this. No roux needed, so you don't have to attend culinary school to understand what roux is, and you don't need to know the ratio or the thickening capabilities of a roux. In this pan will be heavy cream. There will be a base cheese sauce to enhance the flavor, but also allow the chef to dictate the total flavor. Magic cheese. I think you might I like what you're saying. I can't say that out loud, but yes. It's a great ingredient. It just works. It's, this cheese has been around for over 100 years. I would have thought this was something maybe just when I grew up as a kid it came out, but 100 years. So here we have heavy cream. This is about a total of just over a cup. The goal is to bring this cream to a boil so that when I add the liquid gold, you'll see that it will come together nicely. I have this base cheese sauce. The 2 ingredients that you're asking yourself are what's left and what makes this that it reminds me of ramen is there's a seasoning here that the chefs have settled on that just like that little packet you got with the instant ramen. I don't think we all knew it was in there, but we all knew it worked, and we all thought, I like this brand or I want this brand. So this is what the chefs have decided on this seasoning packet here. Again, really savory. You can imagine what that's going to taste like, or you've already had it. So let's see if we can get this to come to a boil. I have here heavy cream, the sauce. The goal is that it emulsifies, or in home speak, it just comes together. While that's working over here, I'm going to talk about one more garnish. Well, 2 more garnishes. Here we go. All right. So basically, I'm just trying to find the right consistency of the cream and the base cheese sauce. I'm now going to be adding in this precious ingredient. And then if you want, you can add some of the pasta water to thin this down, which I probably will add a little bit because it's hot. All right. Let's see how this pasta's looking. Keep in mind this pasta water is always salted. Yeah, great. Perfect. It's okay to have a little of that water, residual water with the pasta since the sauce might be a little thick. Again, 2 parts the sauce, 1 part pasta. We'll set this aside. It'll stay hot. Ah, here we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. How are we doing on time? Okay. Nobody? Good. All right. All right, so just about there. Adding the house ramen seasoning. This is maybe half a teaspoon before we try it. And this last ingredient that's going into the pan to amp up the flavor, maji. Spelled not like it sounds. Maji, dark liquid, super savory, has that, I would say, reminds me of more of an intense soy sauce. Think of this as like a bouillon that's liquid form. Turn this down. Now that we got a good heat going, I'm going to give it a quick taste. I want a little bit more of the seasoning. I think we're there. Turn this down. Another chef tip, when you're cooking, I highly recommend tasting spoons at your station. It's not required, but if you want the food to taste good, you got to make sure you tried it before you serve it to your guests, or especially your kids. Dad, what is this? Yeah. Promise me this year on your bucket list, you're going to make chili crunch at least once in your life. Follow a recipe, any recipe. Also, you can buy it. Chili crunch is taking the world by storm. And then this last garnish is a furikake breadcrumb or crumble. This has butter, shallots and garlic sauteed together, melted butter, flavorful, seasoned. Strain that, mix it with breadcrumbs, toast the breadcrumbs in the oven. They come out of the oven. You're going to add furikake, which is toasted sesame and seaweed or nori, salt, sugar, and then to amp it up, these chefs have added the everything spice. This is what this garnish is here. This is your furikake crumble. And if anything, I hope that you all have a chance to try this because, one, you can decide how much of the chili crunch that you want to add to your finished product. Let's see if we can do this like this. Here we go. All right. I'm going to add this together here. Easily thinking about creamy is better. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty good. Ah, not too bad. All right, here we go. Finish it up. Creamy mac and cheese, ramen style or ramen influenced. Oh. Let's do quick garnish. The crumble. By the way, I probably said that too many times. You want another chef tip? Get into the crumble business. Crunch. Something in your, it's a game changer. Take an ordinary, simple salad and it's gonna be like, what is that crunch texture? Green onions. And then this makes it all worthy of the marketplace. Chili crunch on top, depending on how much you like. Look at this. This is awesome. You want to impress your kids and your neighbors and your friends that come over for dinner and buy one of these. Here we are. Next level. Let's see if we can get Mickey to, yeah, look at that. Okay, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Ramen Mac and Cheese, Furikake Crumble, Chili Crunch, Scallions, and the fish cakes. Ha! Look at that. Sorry, there we go. Thank you for being here today, everybody. Appreciate your time. Glad you stuck around for this. Please enjoy the food.
Hi, everyone. If you don't mind making your way over here, if you want to check out the spinach and artichoke grilled cheese, I'm going to go in and present it in a few. But I'd like to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Chef Gerald. I am one of the chefs here at Pim's Test Kitchen in Avengers Campus. And I'm here to showcase what we have for you in store today, our food and wine selection, our spinach and artichoke grilled cheese. I see that some of you guys have tried it. I hope you're all enjoying it so far, but we can go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm gonna kind of multitask. I'm gonna have the cheese cooking while I'm gonna be talking about the dish. So we're gonna start off a little ahead. We have some built sandwiches here. We're going to spray it. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this before with on TikToks with like burritos, but we're gonna have the for our grilled cheese as well. So I'm gonna spread this through, thin layer. Make sure it's flattened out. Around 2 to 2.5 ounces. And just make sure it's flattened out. A little bit of spray so it can stick together pretty nicely. There we have it. Lower down the heat a little bit. There we go. All right, so a little bit story behind all this. So what I like about Pim's Test Kitchen is that it's an open kitchen. I don't know if you have the opportunity to step into it, you can kind of see that it's open with the chefs. So because it is a test kitchen, we want to kind of test our boundaries of what we can do with these with our dishes. With the success of the grilled cheeses in the past, we're gonna go ahead and put an artichoke dip that one of my colleagues, we're basically watching a football game and it's a basic artichoke dip, especially an artichoke dip with our chips. And of course we wanted to try something different. We're like, why not put it with our grilled cheese? So we made it with our grilled cheese. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna go over what is in the dip, pretty standard. We have a dip right here. Spinach, which is blanched and drained out. And while that's blanched and drained out, we roasted the artichoke with some garlic to really bring out that flavor, the caramelization, to really bring out that savoriness, the acidity that it has. And then while this is cooking, while that's going, along with the artichoke, we saved the liquid as well. We want to make sure we're a little sustainable with our food, so we want to make sure we bring out that flavor, save the liquid. So that's right over here as well, our roasted artichoke. And then with the creaminess, it comes from our mayonnaise and cream cheese. And of course, we season with salt and pepper. Basically, that's mixed together, and that's it right here over here when it's all mixed together. So very savory, very creamy, comforting, rich. Keep that going. So just cleaned up a little bit. One of our machines at Pim's Test Kitchen, it is a clamshell, so it kind of like, while it's cooking, it presses at the same time. One of our nice machines in the kitchen. So while that's cooking, it presses down. So basically, we have a machine that does this part, right over here. And once you start to see that, that color on the side, it's gonna be pretty much done. You can kind of test it out. See how it is, good. We kind of like to see that feather really stand out, make it really nice for our guests, very picturesque for our guests. Right over here. And while that is cooling down, it's gonna crisp up. I wanna make sure it cools down because right now it's a little flimsy. but as it cools down, it's gonna harden even more. As you can see right here, it's more hardened. So I'm gonna make sure to let it rest like a steak. So while that's resting. And from the cheese, it adds a lot of more texture, more adventurous texture through the flavors, along with the artichoke dip. And it also has a white American cheese as well that's put into it. And that is the base of the sandwich. And as it's cooling, I don't know if I can hear it through the mic, but I don't know if you can hear it through, but I think that's one of the things that I like to hear is that texture, is that crunch. And you can probably hear it right here. So like that's what we like to hear. Cut it right in half. And there you have it. Your spinach artichoke dip. Hope you guys like to try more. If you ever had, feel free to have seconds. And that is our sandwich. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Lauren. I'm one of the pastry sous chefs here at the Disneyland Resort. So today we're going to be making cherry compote. The cherry compote is going to go into our cherry cobbler pot of creme. You guys can find that at the marketplaces at Golden Dreams. Okay, so let's get started. So I have my pot already going on the stove. We're going to go ahead and go in with our whole cherries. Whole cherries right in there. As soon as we got that going, warmed up and heated, we're going to go ahead and go in with our granulated sugar. Granulated sugar is going to help bring out all of that sweet, juicy goodness out of our whole cherries. Going to give that a little mix all the way until that sugar is dissolved. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my lemon juice, and as one of my Food Network heroes says, if you don't have fresh lemons, the store-bought is okay. If you do have fresh lemons, some lemon zest would be really good in this. It brings out that brightness in the cherries, a little zestiness as well. I'm gonna go ahead and go in there with my lemon juice. Now you can use any kind of fruit for this. You could do strawberries, you could do blueberries, you can do blueberry lemon, you can do, in the wintertime, you can do cranberries if you want. Any kind of fruit would be very nice in this compote. So I have my water and cornstarch over here. I'm gonna give it a little bit of more of a mix just to make sure that's all incorporated. If you guys don't know what this kind of combination is called, it's called a slurry. What it does is that cornstarch is activated with that lemon juice in there, and it helps thicken up that sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that right in, give it another mix. And you can kind of see immediately that sauce thickens up as it boils. I'm gonna turn off my heat now, and that is all she wrote. Super, super easy. So once you have your compote done, you're gonna let that cool down to room temperature, and I'm gonna build you guys one right here. So I have my vanilla bean pot of creme in this piping bag. What a pot of creme is pretty much just a pastry cream. You're gonna make it with heavy cream. You're gonna thicken it with some egg yolks and sugar. And that's pretty much it. You could flavor it different flavors. You could put pumpkin puree in it, put cinnamon, make it a pumpkin spice. You could put some chocolate in it while you're cooking it, and melted chocolate will make it a chocolate pot of creme. Different variations. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my compote that I made earlier, top off my pot of creme right here. And then I'm gonna take my brown sugar oat streusel and top that off as well. I like being pretty generous with my streusel because I like a lot of texture and crunch, but it is totally up to you and up to preference. And that is it. We have our Cherry cobbler potted crab. You guys can find this at Golden Dreams in the marketplace.